Hey everyone, this is Dan from noblewebdesign.com, and today we are doing part 3 in this tutorial series about being a web developer. Today is the user interface tutorial. We're going to use Flatsome's user interface to modify a page. So before we build the page, before we modify the page, we have to add one. So we're going to go into the back end of WordPress, click on Pages and Add New, and then we're going to give it a title. Most of the time, the default page is called Home. We're going to publish it. And then there's a number of ways to navigate to the user interface builder. You can click on it right here. Or additionally, you can go to the website and you can click Edit Page. And if you click this one, it'll take you to the back end. If you hover, though, and click Edit with UX Builder, it'll bring you to this page. Now here we can see a bunch of templates where we can just click and choose something that we like and then work from there. So I'm going to be designing uh, a website for actually a web designer, just like advertising web design. So I'm going to choose this one called Agency. Now, when we um, click on this, it'll bring in all of the banners in different areas, but it doesn't import the images unless you tell it to. And we don't really want the images that much, so that's fine. So now we can see that things look a lot different, especially if we hide the controls. This is what our website looks like. So let me go over a few of the things we see here. Over on the left side, we see what's called the hierarchy. So it's basically everything that's on the right side, but in a much more simplified form. So if we double click on this text, we see that we can change it and modify things. We can make things bold, and you can change everything like in a normal text editor. If you want to be even more particular about it, once you save that, it shows you the exact HTML that you're modifying, and you can change things from within here if you'd like to. We see that this text is contained within a text box, and the text box is contained in a banner. And so each of these elements we can, modify individually. And it's really nice because it's just click and drag. We don't have to modify any code to tell this where to position itself. Just click and drag. And each of these has different options. I just showed you the text options. Here we can look at the text box options. So there's a lot of things that we can play with here. It's pretty powerful. You'll see the traditional things that you would use with CSS like margin and padding. But then you've got a lot of other stuff that's pretty unique. Text boxes are pretty powerful. Okay. And then in our banner settings, we can, what I like to do, this is an admin label. You can say things like, um, this is the advertisement area. So whatever you want to call it. And then when you come back here, instead of saying just banner, it'll have a label. That way you can keep track of things, because sometimes you'll have a row, a row, a row, and you're not sure which one it is. So you should use these admin labels to keep track of things. This visibility is really nice because you can choose when something's displayed. So over here on the right side, we can see what things would look like mobile, tablet, and desktop. And obviously when we shrink this down, according to the settings that we have right now, this doesn't look very good. And so we can choose to make this hidden on mobile. That way we don't see that nasty looking banner when it's on mobile. Ideally, you want to make everything in such a way so that when it shrinks down, it looks good. But sometimes you do need to hide some high resolution pictures or things like that to streamline your website more so that when it's loaded on a phone, it won't be slow or look odd. So again, I'm just going to go through some of the different settings that we have here. You can choose a different background image. And it's really nice. You can click and drag this little ball to see, how you want it displayed. You can choose to change the size of the image. And I think that actually might just be the resolution. I'm not sure. But again, if you want to change things around, you just can click on it out here and then it changes it there. Um, this is a video button, so when you click on it, plays a video. Put in a video link there. But you get the idea. Basically, there's a lot of different things that you can add over here on the left side, and then you can see what it looks like on the right side. So just experiment and try things out. Something that's pretty important that I learned is that it's good to create a section, and then within that section, you want to put things in rows. And the reason why is because it helps with scaling of on the mobile phone. So if we have these designated rows, then when it shrinks down to mobile, it'll put them on top of each other instead of trying to scrunch them all in side by side. And within the rows, you can adjust the amount of space that each one of these is supposed to take up. Notice that when you switch to mobile, these change to 12 out of 12 instead of 4 out of 12. So the section and then the row and the column are really the building blocks of good layout design for Flatsome. Now, what I would recommend is you find a website that you like and just copy the designs from it just for practice. Now, obviously, you can't carbon copy everything, including the images, because you'd be infringing on copyrights, but websites don't have exclusive rights to the way they format their website. So, you could come in and think, oh, I like how the logo looks, I like the way they use these colors, and then try and go in and recreate maybe the menu or a certain banner. So let's look at this for example. The way we would create this is by adding a banner, choosing a background image that has, mostly blue, maybe some graphics in it, but then it looks like there's an overlay over this. So let's see here in the banner. Overlay, yeah, I want a darker overlay with, like that or whatever. Okay. And I want a button, and some text. So I'm going to come in here and add to banner, text box. Let's add to the text box a button. Okay. That one looks like the one I want. Now here it is. And we can change things so that it can look a certain way. And maybe with this text box, we want some text about this with the heading. Oh, but that's out of order. So I can just click and drag. Now it's in the right order. I don't want this anymore, so I'm going to delete it. Oh, I just deleted the text. I don't want the text box. Delete that. Okay. Let's move this. All right, so, oh, I forgot. I kind of want a big title like that. So we'll come in here and add to the text box some text, and we want it to be just a headline. And we're going to modify the headline to say, and we're going to change this button so that when someone clicks on it, it goes here. Or you can even do direct quotes or direct, like absolute links like this. And it'll take you there when you do that. So as you can see, in just a few seconds, we were able to recreate something that looked similar to something we liked. So the next thing to do is just to find a website that you want to recreate and modify and try it out. And then when you run into problems, just fiddle with things. And that's the best way to learn how to use the designer. Thanks, everyone. That concludes the tutorial for today. This is Dan with noblewebdesign.com. We'll see you next time.